Over the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. They have waged war against civilization itself.
True love shouldn't be this complicated. Thought I'd die in your arms, I thought I'd die in your true love. Shouldn't be this complicated. Thought I'd die in your arms, I thought I'd die in your true love.
Oh, it's a war for Israel. This is just another Jewish thing. America, for what they're worth, for what it's worth, I don't think they're like that evil. I think Sunni countries have done more evil stuff.
It's like, of course, I'm a supporter of Hamas and stuff like that, but like the others.
You're a supporter of Hamas.
Yeah. 110%.
No, what are you talking about?
They
Civilian hostage.
They can't do anything there.
Civilian hostage. You guys are. You're probably a Shia. You're probably a Shia. The world police, America. The world police, the global police. So,
That's a quick snap discussion on the recent escalations in the Middle East and Iran versus Israel.
Yep.
Initial discussions and thoughts.
Well, my initial thoughts, I think everyone's knee-jerk reaction is like, this is another war for Israel. Once again, another war in the Middle East by America, and this and that. But I think there's more nuance to the situation. I think Iran, for what it's worth, is actually a state sponsor of terrorism. They have Shia in Bahrain, in the eastern provinces of Saudi, in Iraq, that pledge allegiance to them. And they obviously sponsor Hamas, they sponsor the Houthis, they sponsor Hezbollah, and these are designated terrorist organizations by many countries, and they are destabilizing the Middle East. So there is a question to be had. On one side of it, on the other side of it, hostile. Oh, it's just another war for Israel. There's this kind of anti-Israel knee-jerk reaction that everyone's nervous system has become accustomed to in recent years. There's a bigger conversation to be had because Iran, obviously, we are against nuclear proliferation. I think that most of the world is, and we don't want Iran to be able to get a nuclear bomb and be able to have a stronghold in the Middle East that cannot be dislodged in any way, because we don't want a North Korea in the Middle East that is sponsoring, that has a terrorist network throughout the Middle East and is destabilizing other countries. We are Sunni Muslims, right? They are destabilizing Sunni Muslim countries, mainly Yemen, Lebanon. I mean, debatable. What do you call that? Like, it's a mixed Shia, Sunni, this and that, Syria, Iraq, and this is also an opportunity to get this is also an opportunity to get rid of that threat in the region, and that is actually why Saudi was actually pushing America to make this attack. So I don't know what Sanaa has to say about it.
Initial thoughts.
So, my initial thought is like, I actually do agree with Becca that there is more nuances than an initial reaction.
Right, don't try to agree with me. Just get it.
No. This is my
Fair enough. Go ahead.
Like thoughts. A lot of people, when they come to these, they either side with one or the other. It's either you're black or you're white. But when we come into this and we actually look at it from a third perspective lens, we know that these two sides, they do have a lot of animosity for one another, because if Israel didn't have Iran, they would have just had a monopoly game over the Middle East. they would just control Jordan, they would just control Saudi, they would just control Yemen like this. But we know that they would just control. They'll have their way within the region. But we know that Iran is the.
How would they have control in? Okay, yeah, sure, yes, that's right.
So they just have control within the region, and we know that Iran is there as the only thorn to this terror threats.
They balance it's a balance of power.
Yeah, so as Ben has mentioned, that we were discussing before, it's a balance of power that is at play. We coming from an Islamic perspective, come from a Sunni Islamic perspective, we know that, as many would say that, okay, yeah, both are in a say a threat to Muslims. They're a threat to Muslims.
So on that note, would you support a regime change?
I wouldn't support any change, as a matter of fact. So I know the regime change too going to happen. If were to happen with Iran, with the Shah family, we know that they're just Zionist puppets. So we know that any change would already cause more harm as it is, in my opinion.
Oh.
Because we know that if a regime change would occur, we know that the Zionists would have a full control over the Middle East, and that's for me, that's far more worse.
Explain your thinking as to how that would happen. How would they have all the power?
Because then they would denuclearize, they would demilitarize the region. They would already control.
Demilitarize.
They would demilitarize the region. They would control Syria when it comes to their. They already control. Their borderline already control Syria to an extent. And they would already just destroy the Islamic ideology, which is the main core fundamental principles of the region.
How do you destroy an ideology?
What they would start locking up the citizens.
Okay, so you're anti-regime change, but on the same hand, you're saying that you think Iran's proxy of what do you call it?
The region.
Their proxies around in the Middle East are bad for Sunni governments. You agree with me on that?
Yes.
But then on the same hand, you're anti-regime change. So
yeah, like it is really like just 50. Like there's no middle ground. I really genuinely think like Iran will do what it like. They'll have their own proxies. Like of course I'm a supporter of Hamas and stuff like that. But like the others.
You're a supporter of Hamas.
Yeah.
How?
110%. Me, I'll support Hamas. Yeah.
Why would you support Hamas?
For me, they're the only ones that are fighting the real terror, and they have to get
Hamas made it probably one of the worst military decisions of all time. Israel, no, what are you talking about?
It was going to bound to happen. They were going to annex Gaza as it is.
That makes no sense.
It was bound to happen.
Hamas made the worst military decision of legitimately all time. Israel was able to they let the attack happen. Like there's many reports they let the attack happen. They leveraged this into a war with all of Iran's proxies. Hamas is allied with those proxies, like with Iran and those proxies. So Israel now manufactured consent to start a war against all those proxies. Hezbollah. They took the Golan Heights. Qadr of Allah. They got rid of Bashar al-Assad. Now they've leveraged this and brought America into it and forced them into a war against their arch nemesis, the Iranian Revolution, which they've been trying to dislodge for decades.
40 years.
And this all happened because Hamas wanted to go in and capture something. You know what Hamas thought? They thought that Israel. They thought that capturing those hostages would give them a lot more leverage than they thought they would. That's all. That was their only calculation.
I would.
So you're saying you're on their side?
Hamas
On the same. Also, they are a security threat for Israel. What do you expect? You think? This is why I think the regime in Syria is good, because it doesn't give Israel any real reason to fight against them, and they have and they're friendly with America, which means they have no plausible it leaves Israel with no plausible deniability to attack them for no reason. They're not a threat because they're not an apparent threat. They don't say death to America. So, but Hamas does. They're an actual threat. Like they're not organized. They do terrorism. They actually do terrorism. Does Israel do terrorism? Yes, but as Muslims, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. So you support a terrorist organization.
Yeah,
think about that. How do you square that with being against the proxies in Iran, in the Middle East?
It just really, what cause are they fighting for? For me, what is innately their cause. It's just
Wouldn't
obviously
every military be
Yeah,
a
everyone
terrorist
says.
organization?
Huh?
Wouldn't every military be a terrorist organization by that standard?
No, bro. Hamas does actual terrorism. They took hostages. Who takes hostages?
as leverage. I think
what
that
are
was
the, what are the
justified.
military
That's
does?
what they're gonna do.
Yeah, what is it?
No, what are you talking about?
They literally
Civilian
can't do anything
hostages.
there. They can't do anything there.
Civilian hostages. You guys are.
You can take that as
You guys
leverage.
are justifying-
Most of
I'm
these
saying-
civilians were former
we
IDF.
obviously look. I'm not saying it's not a terrorist act. I'm saying wouldn't every military ever be considered a terrorist organization? Though? Killing people versus taking
No,
hostages.
bro. I'm saying Hamas is different. They took hostages. That's terrorism.
What about killing people like in the hundreds of thousands in all these countries? Bombing civilian
They're
sites and stuff.
not aiming. They're not straight up taking hostages. There's a difference in war.
I mean,
Obviously, Israel.
they bomb schools, they bomb anything.
They were bombing
Anyone bombs
private-
anything.
I'm saying Israel,
bombing
they're
that.
terrorists as well. But I'm saying that Hamas, like, why would you support that? I'm saying it's the same as like the Jews supporting Israel.
Yeah, I wouldn't support Hamas.
I would support 110% Hamas just because of the fact. What are they fighting for? Me.
So then, how can you
I
say?
think it was a
How can you
So
say
then,
that?
Hamas is ostensibly also a
Iranian proxy.
no, it's a offshoot militant group in the Middle East, similar to the Houthis, similar to Hezbollah,
Yeah.
similar to all of these groups. However, you seem to
Aligned with
align with one and not the other.
because just of the pure fact of one Sunni or the other as well. Just and
So ISIS, Al Qaeda, etc. And
So you support terrorism as long as as long as you agree with the people.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's the quote-unquote terrorism to
So-
It's not. No, that is terrorism. Taking hostages is terrorism.
No, I think they were justified. It was just
How is that
justified.
bro?
It was
What if-
justified. It was completely justified because from
Okay.
what I know from the research I've done, that
How is that justified? According
Is
to
that Islamically, or are we talking from a militarily
like that?
beneficial standpoint?
Allahu Alam if it's Islamically, I actually don't know that about that. But just regarding what I
Like
know,
a
the
prisoner of
research,
war.
yeah.
That's not a prisoner of war. That's a civilian. That's a straight up civilian.
Like most of these people, civilians are actually like they're former IDF soldiers, so then
What some of these people say, I'll put it forward, is that they say that if you're at war with the people, essentially all of the people of that country, since you're at war with them, the civilians are military.
no.
Because what's the difference?
No. I disagree with that statement. I do disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
In general,
All right. So Sanat supports terrorism for whatever reason.
just
How does he?
just Hamas.
So to bring it all together, I mean, you're saying obviously you don't support a regime change.
Yeah.
To that extent, then are we saying that the longer that the regime, the Iranian revolution, stays in power, the higher the chance that there is obviously the chance that they get a nuclear bomb? So would you say that?
I'll say that's
They're-
great.
So would you say
You think
that
that's great?
proliferation of the nuclear
I
warheads
would say that's great.
in
If
that
Iran gets a nuclear bomb, that
Then,
is
because Iran's not actually going to use that or going to cause a nuclear war. It's just going to prevent Israel from having a strong, like, just controlling the whole world, or controlling that whole Middle East region. If Iran has
There is
their own
negatives and
nuclear
positives.
so do we think that Iran should have nuclear warheads in 2026?
that's really 50-50. I don't believe so. Because as Amir points out, that's
Is it
is the
50-50?
positive. But then the negative
Wait,
is
what's
just
wrong with it?
that is the only positive regarding.
What do you mean?
They're not
what's
going to
wrong with
use it.
That's not the point.
So then what-
That means it gives the Iranian.
Too much power.
It's not about Iran having power. It's about Israel not having that power.
Dude, Iran having power doesn't mean that Israel randomly doesn't also have power. Like, it just means that there's going to be more fighting. Look at it on the other side. Say a friendly regime in Iran exists. That
Obviously,
means
that's going to cause for more peace.
exactly
100%.
exactly. There's going to be more stability
But it's
across the
gonna be-
region because Israel doesn't have an enemy that they have to take out.
And then the US,
I'll talk about
according
the
to
other-
their non-proliferation treaty, have to start getting involved and
Not just that. I'm saying like there's no reason to fight.
Yeah.
In the whole area right now, Iran is bombing every Gulf country: Bahrain, Kuwait Airport, Dubai Airport. They drone strike those. They were trying to take down the Burj Khalifa. So
That's insane. I think.
so you see their war doctrine here. They're trying to pull everyone into it, force America into a ground war, and make this really hurt for America and make Trump lose credibility. That's the only hand that they have to play right now. The other thing about nuclear proliferation, you guys say that you think Iran should have a nuke.
No,
Every country is against nuclear proliferation. Every country is against Iran having a nuke. Muslim countries are against it. Imagine if Iran gets it. Saudi's going to try to get it. With MBS in an interview with like CNN or something, I forgot who it is. He said that if Iran gets a nuke, we definitely have to try to get one. Now imagine It's going to be another nuclear arms race in the Middle East, the most like boisterous, the most rogue region. The most volatile region. So it would start a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. Okay, so
You know what that would cause, right? If everyone there had a nuke, what would that cause?
Duh, yeah, it would be like World War III if everyone raced for a nuke in the Middle East. Duh. Okay, and with let me finish. And with everything that would come with that. Next, nuclear proliferation. Why would we be against Iran getting nukes? Like I said, Iran has a proxy network of non-state acting terrorists. They're Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, even just the Shia in Bahrain and in the eastern province of Saudi. They pledge allegiance to the Ayatollah and Rahimahullah. They pledge allegiance to him.
Rahmatullah alayh.
The Shia in Iraq, they pledge allegiance to Iran. It's like the Mecca of Shiaism, of the Shiites. They're probably a Shia in it. So you want them to get a nuke? You're probably a Shia in it.
But then
You guys are Shia? No. So what that does is that deepens, that makes them undislodgeable. They can't be removed. They have legitimacy. They have supremacy over their land. You know, like North Korea, no one can touch it. It's a porcupine. It's a freaking porcupine. Iran's going to be the same. It's going to be untouchable. They're there. We've raced it. They're going to be like Israel. We're here now. And Iran, I mean, they have a revolutionary guard who they had created the proxies. So if they have the nuke, then Iran has an ability to be more ambitious with their proxies, with the Houthis in Yemen. Maybe the Houthis take all of Yemen. Right now they just have the, what do you call it, the north? They call it the north, yeah. Right now they just have the north. Now, the Houthis have become so popular because of their fight for the Palestinians. So many people have joined. They have the biggest non-state army, 300,000 fighters, and so many people are joining. They're going to have supremacy over Yemen. They're going to destabilize Saudi. Who knows? They could try annex the eastern province. You know what I'm saying? Like the eastern province, which has like Najran and all the Shia in the eastern province, which is also close to the oil fields in America. Imagine this is how Iraq happened. This is literally how Iraq happened. So that's what would happen if Iran actually got a nuke. It would be like that would be World War III. So arguably Donald Trump, for all the hate Donald Trump is getting for doing this, arguably Donald Trump is stopping World War III by doing this, because it's like if not now, then when sort of thing. Because they're going to, the longer that they exist, the closer they are to getting a nuke, to having stability, not stability, but lodging themselves in that place and having a strong government. That's what happened with North Korea. So as a head of state, you have to make these decisions. You have to be able to act and find the right time to stop this from happening. Now, on the other hand, it's a gamble because the IRGC and whatever the remnants of Iran's revolution, the Iranian revolution, the remnants of that regime, they are going to fight an insurgency to the death. They're not going to give up. Like, bro, why would you give up? They killed the Ayatollah. They're not going to give up. The Taliban didn't give up. These people, they believe in Shiaism. They believe in a Shia caliphate over all the Muslim countries. This is like, that's why they wouldn't negotiate. They believe like this is it. Like they believe Allah's on their side. Like he's going to Nasrullah. Like that's the name's like Nasrullah. Like bro, like which means like victory of Allah from Allah. Like
Nasrullah.
Yeah.
It means like help from Allah.
Help victory. Like they believe that they're gonna make it through. So like this is all working towards. This is all part of it. So they're never gonna give up. They're gonna force a ground war. They're gonna try to pull America into it and make it hurt. And like the Balochist separatists and all these other Armenians and this like Kurdish groups in Iran, like they're going to arm those people, and what's going to come of that? That could be another Iran, but that's more contained than if Iran had to. So America, we're trusting America, the world police, America, the world police, the global police, America.
Trust.
We're trusting them. We're trusting them to handle the situation. And what's your take on it?
Well, it does make sense. Like after Becca put it like that, it is actually a danger that if Iran were to
No kidding, huh?
What happened when you said Israel, but Israel's going to have supremacy over the whole region.
Yeah, but that's the offshoot about it.
So where do you go from there?
It's just like we can't get ourselves out of that situation. It's either
we're down 3-1.
Yeah, we're down 3-1. Chris Paul dropped the by.
So we're down 3-1. Okay, let's say Israel does secure peace in that region and they take over and they do what they need to do. Is that what we're happy with for like the rest of the days?
Bro, Israel, for what it's worth, there's two sides to it. There's the side of Israel, they have the Unknown plan, which is to break up the countries by factions like, okay, the Shia, like Iran is like along sectarian lines and ethnic lines. So if Iran is broken down on those lines, they're easier to control. But that also means that there's going to be more bloodshed amongst the Iranian population or whatever population, like Syria, Iraq, anywhere. So they gotta fund both sides and keep that going. Okay, as a country in the Middle East, as a Sunni country in the Middle East, like whichever country, you want to try to avoid that and stop that from happening, and force them to be like a country like Syria that can, like maybe this monarchy, Pahlavi, maybe like a guy like him that has control over the whole region and it's stable and it's not Unknown plan type destruction, right? So it's who knows? And America, obviously, America wants to get out of the Middle East. America wants security to be in the hands of Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Israel, so they can get the hell out of the Middle East, leave these bases, because China is going to make a move towards Taiwan. So that's the main thing with America. America wants to sort this out now and prioritize their Western Hemisphere with Cuba, the Panama Canal, Venezuela, and China, who's going to, their time's running out to make a move in Taiwan as well, because of the island chains that are completely blocking them off from the Pacific. So that's what it is. There's just information. Like, there isn't this side. There isn't a side to support or this or that. So that's just what it is. America, for what it's worth, I don't think they're like that evil. I think Sunni countries have done more evil stuff than some of the stuff that America has done. Obviously, the Aqidah is not correct, but the Aqidah of the Muslims, not the Muslims, of the Americans. But at heart, what they're doing is like just their interests, and it's not always. They're not trying to destabilize. It just happens. Like no one's goal is to create destabilization.
Israel?
But Israel's is
Israel.
Except Israel. They are genuinely one of the worst countries.
Well, I would say that America do want to destabilize the region, just because of the fact that they just don't want.
America wants the region to be stable so they can get out of it, so they can lose security to Abu Dhabi and Israel,
Qatar
and Saudi Arabia,
whatever.
So they don't have to have all their resources in that region, so they can prioritize the Pacific and their Western Hemisphere.
Yeah,
that's really all there is to say.
That's a quick snapshot of the current situation.
But then everyone is just going to say, "Oh, it's a war for Israel. This is just another Jewish thing." Bro, there's more to it. It's not.
But is there validity to that statement?
Yeah. It's a war for Israel. Israel lobbied on their behalf, but Saudi also did too. We saw Saudi. Saudi did the same thing. Saudi said they wanted the same thing to happen. So, from America, I think that perspective, the perspective of, this is another war for Israel, that perspective is valid from an American nationalist perspective. Yeah. That is valid. That's a valid perspective from American nationalist perspective. Because America could just get out of there and say, who cares about stability? They could just get out of there. Who cares about stability? But as a Muslim or as a Jew or a Muslim or whatever, That doesn't make sense. Because Saudi even wants them to make that to get rid of that Iranian regime. The Iranian regime is against many Saudi, a Muslim country that is causing problems. The only thing is it's a risk. With every head of state has to make a big risk like this. If it works, they go down in history as one of the greats. If it doesn't work, they're hated forever. But the ability to make one of these decisions is what makes you one of the greatest. Like, I'm not saying great in the actual, like, I agree with America, obviously, unequivocally. I'm saying a great as in, like, one of the greatest leaders of all time, like, that had to make, like, Winston Churchill or whatever, like, and made one of the craziest decisions and won a war or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like Alexander the Great. Like, you know what I mean? So, that's what it is. The knee-jerk reaction is going to be, oh, there's another war for Israel. Bro, unless you are an American national, which actually I'm American technically, somehow, it's not a valid perspective. It's just like kind of like a anti-imperial. We just want America. We're just against America. We're just against whatever America's hegemon. It's not a hegemon. They do have like some sort of responsibility because of how big they are as a military, bro. Like with great power comes great responsibility. You have to make those decisions, and I think that's the nuance that's lost in this conversation. That's why.
True love shouldn't be this complicated. Thought I'd die in your arms. I thought I'd die in your true love. Shouldn't be this complicated. Thought I'd die in your arms. I thought I'd die in your true love. Shouldn't be this complicated. Thought I'd die in your arms. I thought I'd die in your...
A couple weeks ago, you were doing an interview and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound